Welcome to the Big Cat Lounge podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm KZ, one of the co-founding members. And I'd like to bring a call to action message. Please leave us a review. We need this as part of the algorithm to rank and eventually expand our reach. Welcome to the Big Cat Lounge podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm KZ and I'm here with Big Cat Chad. Today's guest comes from San Francisco and he's the founder and CEO at Next Big Four Connect. He's a third generation Italian American living in the San Francisco Bay Area and a California native. He's an active LinkedIn member, always providing value to his 35,000 plus followers. He just dropped another Noble Pod episode where he discusses all relevant topics in digital marketing, social media marketing, business development, and the internet. We welcome to the Big Cat Lounge podcast, Ryan Noble Ceccarelli. Hear him roar.
Dude, you pronounced it right. Yes.
Nice.
Let's go. Oh, so stoked to be here, guys. Yeah, I'm so stoked to be here. Thank you so much for bearing with me with the scheduling and getting everything squared away. Thank you for that, Chad. I think this is the first time I met you, man. I love that voice. Like, let's go.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Nice. I like your voice as well.
Oh, thank you, guys. Humbled.
Dude, thanks for coming on, man. It's awesome.
So you're a very busy guy. You're in so many podcasts every day. How do you keep up with your schedule?
Whew. Oh gosh, to be honest, I need a virtual assistant. It's crazy, guys. So I basically I keep to a script, right? So I have a calendar, and I always write things down, guys. I've learned that if you write things down, then you'll hold yourself accountable, and you'll also be accountable to other people, right? So like at the end of the day, like it helps. So like I don't know if you guys are can see my screen right now, but I'm taking notes for this podcast too, guys. Like I'm
Wonderful.
I love I love connecting, inspiring, engaging, and growing. That's my motto. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for this introduction and this amazing opportunity.
So how are you growing 2,000 followers a week? How are you growing 2,000 followers a week right now on LinkedIn?
Oh gosh, dude, the golden question. So I love giving away my secrets, right? So what I do is I actually post valuable content, and I don't mean that in a humble brag way. What I do is I post content that people enjoy reading. And that people need to hear, right? So, for full disclosure, I'm 27 years old. So I actually didn't even start. My first post on LinkedIn was October 1st, 2019. So that was my first time I ever posted.
What was it about?
It was a repost. It was a reshare. I don't even remember. The first 3 months were just reshares from partners, from owners of accounting firms that I knew. So from October 1st to December 31st, all I did was reshare posts for other people. So the first 3 months of my journey was literally sharing other people's content. And I realized, I was like, oh man, this probably isn't the best way to go about it, because to be honest, the platform, it really favors the algorithm. It favors people who create original content. Right, original content creators, OC, right? Be the original poster, the OP. I'm a big fan of Reddit. Plug.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And they always talk about how the OP is the one who gets the most credit, right? And they're the original poster, right? It's also a give and take, right? So, if you're growing today from day one, I would say do two things. I'd say if you're trying to grow a social media platform for business, I'd say one, create a LinkedIn account.
Step one.
do step one, do that. Number two is engage, right? Engage with your personal story, engage with other people's personal stories, be bold, be inspiring, and connect with that stranger, guys. Like, stranger danger is not a thing on LinkedIn. They do a really good job of I mean, okay, to be fair, Bitcoin scammers are a real problem on the platform.
Yeah.
I hate those guys. And I don't mean like I hate Bitcoin forever. I'm not like that. But
Right.
I mean, there are scammers on the platform. You got to be careful.
Oh,
But
for sure.
that being said, most people on the platform are good people. And like, be bold and reach out to the CEO, guys. Send that CEO a message. That's what I do all the time. I send CEOs and founders messages, and I'm just like, hey, I really liked your post. And I'll comment on the post. I'll say, hey, Gary V, or Shay Rowbottom, or Christopher Hummel, I'm really inspired by your post daily. And they appreciate it because people like being heard. At the end of the day, they love being heard. And your personal story matters. Everybody's personal story matters. And like, I mean, I made a post this morning about how I'm dyslexic, and I got rejected from the best schools in the United States, and I was really upset because I had a perfect GPA, I had a perfect score on my math, and almost perfect score on my writing SAT. In my reading comprehension, I failed. I got like a 300 out of 800. I was reading backwards, right? And it's something I've struggled with my whole life. But that being said, I haven't let that define me. And I don't let that like, limit my opportunities in life. And I use my strengths, I utilize them, and I work with strengths coaches, and I work with therapists, and I work with doctors, and I work with mainly speech therapists and other occupational therapists. And I've learned that, like, you can live with this, and you can grow and become someone special, because everyone can. So yeah, that's kind of my story. I don't want to take up too much but yeah, so that's, and I feel like too, like, to get back to your question, to bring it all in, the 2,000 followers a week has been a work in progress. Like, I don't do it for the numbers, to be honest. I don't even care about followers. Like, I have 12,000 connections, so I'm exponentially growing at a rate faster than I can handle. But like, to me, it's about sharing story for everyone who has maybe a learning, just like, it's for the kids, man. It's for the children.
Today's sponsor is Anchor FM app. Go download the free Anchor app today to get started. You can find it at your Play Store or App Store. It's everything you need to make a podcast, and it distributes everything for you so it can be heard on multiple platforms such as Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and many more. This is what I'm currently using right now to edit and record my podcast, and you can do so from your phone or computer. And the tools are really easy to use to help document the Big Cat Lounge journey. So what are you waiting for? Go today and download it.
What are some other ways one can engage somebody like that on LinkedIn? Besides, I mean, I like actually the strategy of just, reaching out to the CEO and telling them you like their post. I actually like that.
Yeah, so it's a bold strategy too. And so another strategy I would say, like, write your posts like the night before, the day before. Like, don't just wing it. People want you to put in effort and work into your content. And at the end of the day, what I actually do, my process is pretty strong. It's make 6 posts and then narrow it down to 3 in the course of 24 hours, and then really only promote or post one that I like. Because it's not about what Ryan likes, it's about what my connections like. So what I do is I email myself the post, and I read it to myself. I'm like, okay, how would someone else feel if they read this? Like, and it's kind of like
I do the same thing.
Oh, you do? Awesome, dude. Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. So it's about, like, I think that's a great point, Chad. Like, sending that yourself that initial reaction, being like, oh man, like, this is kind of a rude, or like, your tone really matters. And I try to always come off as a happy-go-lucky energetic person,
Yeah.
right? So, been told I have ADD, right? I'm just like, no, I don't. Don't define me by an acronym, like that's not,
Exactly.
I don't care about that, man. Like, in again, so don't define yourself, on the platform, like, and let other people hear your story, like, and yeah, like, I mean, so real quick question: how did you guys get the name Big Cat Lounge?
So we had our friend Nilesh, who you'll have to go check out the Big Cat Origin show.
Okay.
So our friend Nilesh, he's kind of this guy. He's an Indian guy who kind of tries to like talk like a rapper. But when we first met him, he was from Asheville and he talked with a country accent, and he called me Mo.
That's funny. I don't know if you guys can pick up from my California accent, but I overpronounce every word. Like I'm over here like California, like, super over enunciating and stuff. I think that's amazing.
Have you seen that Saturday Night Live episode or skit called The Californians?
No, yeah, I have, yeah.
Are you like that?
Dude, I'm from California.
9 to 15 and then go on Sunset and then take the 4. Then take a ride on Freeman.
Take a ride. That's how we all talk. I love it, guys.
Tell us about Noble Pod.
Noble Pod, yep. So this podcast was created actually 2 days ago. I've already been approved on Apple Podcasts. I've been approved on Spotify, Podcast Addict, and yeah, it's basically to share my mental health struggle and my mental health story, and also being noble and proud about it. Like my middle name is Noble. It's my grandpa's last name. So my grandpa didn't have any male kids. He had 3 daughters. My mom was one. She's a saint. So my name literally means little king, right? Noble Ceccarelli, and Ceccarelli is I'm a big Italian My dad's a historian. My mom is a child development specialist, right? So I'm a unique blend, but yeah, so Noble Pod, I wanted to make kind of in honor of my grandpa, because my grandpa doesn't have any kids anymore, so his name is kind of it's me, right? It's it's Ryan Noble. So yeah, and he unfortunately was recently diagnosed with brain cancer, with double cancer, prostate cancer and brain cancer. So he's a trooper. He's in remission right now. Shout out Grandpa Towner, Grandpa Noble Towner. I love you. But yeah, so yeah, it's kind of a play on words. I know it's a little confusing. Noble Pod, right? Like, oh, does this guy think he's noble? Like, in I don't know, man. It's my first podcast too, so it's easier to pronounce than my last name, even though you guys nailed that. Like, I'm impressed.
So you know why I nailed it? You know why I nailed it? Because that LinkedIn feature where you you can listen to your name.
Dude, yes, yes. So it works. It works. That's amazing.
That's the only way I'd probably get it. I mean, I may have got it, but you never know.
I get a lot of like Ceccarelli, like, and then a lot of people like to say Ceccarelli. So my dad's very firm on his Italian, because his dad's from Italy. Came here in I don't want to be exact, but 1917, August 23rd, 1917. And during World War I, it was really frowned upon. Through World War II, it was frowned upon to be an Italian, right? Because of the whole Axis and Germany, Italy, and so he was really pushed to become Americanized, per se, in the 50s and 60s, right? So he was very proud, and he always didn't say, "I'm not white, I'm Italian." So I always thought that. I'm like, yeah, Dad, I'm not white, I'm Italian. I say that. He says, Ryan, he tells me to shut my mouth. I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry.
So what are you going to cover in LinkedIn 101?
Yeah. So, to be honest, I write these. So I have I have a few affiliate marketing clients, and I write these posts for them. But I keep it private, right? Because everyone, when they write their own posts, I like personalization in posts. So for me, I just want to talk about, like sharing your own story, right? And um, I guess on link, or like I want to connect, inspire, engage, and grow with people on the podcast. Actually, my second episode, I was with this gentleman, Ravinder. His nickname is R Multilinear. He's from India, and he's a really good friend of mine. And he's been a follower and a fan since I've been growing, and he joined me on the second podcast, and we basically just talked all about like LinkedIn tips and tricks. And it was really cool because I mean it was a one-sided conversation. I haven't figured out the Zoom. I don't know if that should be an off-air convo, but I haven't figured out like the Zoom stream with someone.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's really that good. I mean,
It's
yeah.
not, dude. Zoom is killing me right now. This morning I went live on like YouTube through Zoom, and it was terrible. Like it didn't even work really.
Yeah, I think some people are using like StreamYard, but it just depends. I don't
Dude,
know. Yeah.
yes, I keep hearing about. So StreamYard I went live with Christopher Hummel today on StreamYard, and he basically, you can't download the videos for audio if you don't pay for the like pay to play, like the premium content. So
yeah,
who knows, man?
that's what we're doing right now. We're just using Zoom 40 minutes for free until we can figure out,
good to know,
what the next steps are, because it is a lot of money to really get started. You want the best equipment, the best quality.
Yep. And actually, so I just bought my first podcast mic. So I have like the whole setup with the like. It looks like I'm an artist, right? So it's pretty cool. Because I keep getting lag. I keep getting like the buzz, the fan from my computer. So I've heard it was $60 on Amazon. It wasn't a huge investment.
Yeah, and well, it's an investment in yourself too, and it's not like you're not going to use it. You use it probably every day.
Exactly. No, exactly. And I've already done 2 podcasts, and I took yesterday off because my mom was like, "Stop talking to yourself, Ryan. You need to go to sleep." Like, Mom, I'm trying to make a podcast, Mom. God. Anyways, they're proud of me.
So what would you tell your 18-year-old self if you could today?
Oh, God. Don't be so stupid. It was... No.
That was
like, I was fun. So... I know, right? I was such a... Like, I was a good kid, but, like, I thought I was the king, Like, I thought I would... I was at university, at Chico State University, shout out. And, like, Chico State's known as a party school. And God... I wasn't necessarily into the party scene. I was still academic at the time, but like, whew, like it was crazy days, guys. It was crazy days.
That's the thing. Like you're in high school and then you go to college, and it's like you don't have no one to report to. It's just yourself, your roommate.
And my parents were strict, man.
No, it's basically like imagine when you went to high school, but you lived there on dorms. Like you're like, oh, this was just like high school, but we all lived at high school.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. And your RA, like your RA isn't your parent, right? Totally different situation, So yeah, totally. Yeah. So I would just say, I would tell myself, honestly, I wasn't on LinkedIn when I was 18. I didn't start till I was 22. So my first ever like profile I made back on February 27th, 2013. Yeah. So I'm 27 right now. So if you do the math, quick math, right? I'm a math guy. I was 22 when I created my profile, or I was 20, excuse me. Sorry. When I created my profile. So, it took me till I was 18, or it took me till I was on Facebook at 18, but I never posted on Facebook. To be honest, guys, I hate Facebook.
I don't mess with
it. Dude, it's just, Mark Zuckerberg's got a different plan, and I don't like his plan. It's not all about Mark and Mark.
What's his plan?
So, okay, I haven't met the guy, obviously, but he thinks that Facebook has taken over the world. I'm kind of like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Like, it's there's this whole like Facebook rooms now. You can do like rooms, and there's this new app called Workplace where they're trying to take over like Microsoft Teams, like because Microsoft is a very big company, right?
Yeah.
And they like Facebook basically thinks they can take out contenders like Zoom, and I'm like, no, you can't. No, you can't. Zoom was created in 2011 in San Ramon, California. In the Silicon Valley was where the IPO issued, but San Ramon is where the headquarters are now, where I'm from, right? So Zoom in 2011, when I graduated high school, was created Zoom.USA, and to be honest, guys, like GoToMeeting has been here the entire time. Microsoft Teams has been here. Skype was before Teams, but like Skype is dead. Microsoft decided to take it out back and shoot it right behind the barn and kill it. Skype is not around it. I'm a big fan of Shark Tank plug. So that's what Mr. Wonderful always says. He always says, I think you need to take this hobby behind the backside of the barn and shoot it.
Dude, Mr. Wonderful was here in Raleigh about 4 or 5 months ago. It's called Wine by Design as a Shark Tank investment.
That's his. Yep, that's one of his company. It's one of his huge. He's a huge.
Headquarters is there inside of the new train station, I think.
No way, guys. I need to get myself to Charlotte. I had a friend who went to North Carolina Charlotte University, and she played soccer there. And
bro, I graduated from UNC Charlotte.
No way.
I'm a 49er. I'm a 49er, man.
Dude, that's amazing.
Absolutely.
Chad, that's amazing. I should tell her you say hi. She said that they're very proud of Charlotte, the city, the town, like the people. And I've always kind of been like, oh, I've never been to North Carolina. Like that's really cool. And yeah, cool, man.
You got to come to North Carolina. North Carolina has a lot to offer.
That's awesome.
But the thing is that the university is a good bit of ways from the city.
Oh, is it?
It's like a good 20, 25 minutes from downtown. I got a light rail that goes there now.
Okay, got it. So it's kind of like BART. I feel like in the Bay. Have you guys ever heard of the BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit BART station? Or
I haven't, but I've never been there. So
okay,
I don't know.
Got it. Yeah, it's just so it's basically an train underneath the bay that goes to San Francisco. So I'm about a 45-minute BART ride. They call it just BART because it's an acronym. Everyone uses acronyms in the Bay Area. It's so annoying. Like, it's like stop using it. My mom, you should hear her. Love you, Mom. It's like the DNC and the RN and
So how often are you gonna do a LinkedIn podcast?
Oh, good. I originally planned for daily. It's a 15-20 minute podcast daily. I thought that would be ideal. But to be honest, I don't want to just make it about me. I want to get guests. I want to get guests on the shows and like really promote other people's stories because I'm no Joe Rogan. Okay. I'm not trying to be the Joe Rogan experience, right? I think that's ridiculous to start a podcast and try to be Joe Rogan.
You're not going to be Joe Rogan.
No. I love JRE, man. That's my, God, there I go. Acronyms, JRE. God.
You had to drop it though.
I had to drop it. He's my guy. He's one of my favorite comedians of all time. Yeah.
You met him on Fear Factor?
Yep. He started on Fear Factor. He was a host for Fear Factor, and that's where he kind of got big, that's my childhood right there, man. eating bugs.
And he hooked up with the UFC.
Yep, he's still a host for UFC. So Dana White and him are really good friends. So
don't they kind of look like they could be cousins?
Dude, they look like the same person.
Right?
I think they're cousins.
Bald. They're both bald, and they both have that like intense personality where they're like, yeah, like UFC.
Yeah. They're very similar.
Yeah.
So what's next big for?
Yep. So my short public accounting career, I'm an expired CPA. I call myself an ex-CPA, was working for affiliates of the big four marketing companies. So I don't know if you guys have heard of like Ernst & Young, Deloitte.
Yeah.
those big four. So I was really upset because the big four offered me 4 job offers out of college, and I went with the smaller affiliate firms, and basically they rejected my applications. They basically declined my disability. And I was upset because I was like, you know what? I worked at the next big four. So it's a play on words to creating a better process for public accounting, because a lot of accountants come out of the next big four, or they come out of the big four accounting firms and they say, oh, I worked at the big four, I'm special. And I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Straight up, you're not special. So I have experience at, literally, if you look at their total revenue, and again, I'm a financial numbers guy, at the next big four companies, right? So like Moss Adams, Novogradac and Company, OUN, like, I don't want to name names, but I just did. And all these smaller firms are still big players. They're still big fish in they're still big fish in a good sized pond. Oh, there goes my doorbell. Sorry, guys.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I think it's my hopefully my podcast mic. That would be amazing.
Hey.
There you go.
You go.
Amazon finally delivered, guys. Amazon. You're driving me nuts. Anyways, that's a story for another. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! My microphone's here. Sorry, I got my own place. Finally signed a lease. I move in next Tuesday, so I'll be in Walnut Creek, California, on Sunnyvale Ave. Right now I'm at mom and dad's.
Where's that?
It's in a small town 35 miles east of San Francisco called San Ramon, California. My mom, so when I was live on the podcast with Christopher Hummel on StreamYard this morning, my mom decided to print something on my super loud colored printer, because I'm the only person with a colored printer in the house. So it's like, me. I told her, like, right before, I was like, Mom, do not interrupt me, like, please, like, I'm begging you. She's like a VP of Levi's, and
Yeah.
I'm like, please just print all your stuff, like, beforehand, like, just let me know what you need.
It's really the best during these times to, like, have conference calls, because, like, the noise and the background that you get is so funny. Like, you'll hear children, you'll hear sirens.
Yeah, that's true.
Fire alarm.
Yeah. Dude, yes. I used to live on this really busy street in Concord, and basically, like, there would be, fire trucks are like, and I just have to, like, sit there and just pause for 10 seconds, like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it makes for funny audio.
It does. It truly does. So what made you choose, I guess, to get your CPA, and then now you're your ex-CPA? What made you go into accounting? There's so many different fields to pick from.
True. So I love numbers, and I, more importantly, love money. Right. So, like, I realized that, like, learning how to do your taxes is a very hard thing to do. Right. And, like, when I was in college, I realized my grandparents didn't know how to file their taxes. Right. So they had a CPA, and he was also my grandpa's barber. So he did 2 things. He cut his hair and did his taxes. And I was always like, dude, this guy was a mobster, man. Straight up. Like,
funny.
he like, Al Capone watches my sheets, like, well, your CPA does your hair, he's a mobster, man. But anyways, so I thought, I was like, okay, these accountants, man, and coming as an Italian, like, they know their money. And my grandpa was a small business owner. He owned a deli, and they called him Quick Tony. His name was Antonio Ceccarelli, and they called him Quick Tony. Because
Quick Tony,
man, and he knew his shit, and he'd get stood up. He lived in a really, really shoddy town called Bakersfield, California, in the Central Valley. And that's where my dad grew up, in a very diverse, mostly African American and Hispanic people. He's the only white family in the neighborhood. That's why they called him Italian, because he was an Italian American. So anyways, like, Quick Tony, he was so quick with numbers and money that like, oh, I just got the remaining time, that he didn't have an accountant his whole career. And I kind of told him, I was like, dude, this guy was a like he basically he wrote the books himself, you know. And I thought it was so cool how he wrote the books, and he provided actually. So my dad, this is crazy, guys. My dad had 5 brothers and 6 sisters in a 2-bedroom house growing up. 1 bathroom.
Wow.
So big 12 plus 2 parents, right? 14-person family. And I never met my grandpa. He died before I was born, unfortunately. Quick Tony, you know, passed in 1989, the year of the earthquake, you know, A's versus Giants, Battle of the Bay. But you know, I have been inspired by him because, you know, my dad was only 29 when his dad passed away. And he's always taught me, like, Ryan, like, live your own life, you know, like, don't ever like live your life for us. Don't ever do something because your parents, you know, told you to and stuff. And so anyways, back to your question, like accounting, like for me, I was like, if I really learn how to do these taxes and basically record my own books, which I do right now, and I did for 4 years in public accounting, you know, like for these firms, I was their internal auditor. Then, you know, I can create a business, and I can sustainably grow as a networker, as a person, as a business owner, as a, you know, whatever I want to be, I can do. And you know, I don't need no lawyer. I don't need no CPA. Like, I don't need no license. I don't need no acronym, you know, after my name. Like, I can do it myself. Like, I call myself an accountant because my degree isn't accounting, right? That's just what my degree is. That's what I picked. That's what my piece of paper says. But you know, so yeah, I'm also too, like, I'm for full disclosure, I'm in grad school right now. I just do it part-time it's night school. I don't know why I decided to do it, but it's basically my side gig that I call it. And I go to a small school in Sacramento, but I just do all online. And you know, I love it because I'm a learner, guys. And I feel like I'm a big proponent of higher education for children, you know, and like, I think every child should have the opportunity to go to college, not because to get the piece of paper, to literally experience, you know, life and growth. And you know, one of my biggest mentors doesn't have a degree. And you know, he kind of, fast forwarded his life through the military. Chris Hummel, like, he was in the Air Force and worked security. And you know, like, my godfather is a U.S. Army vet. You know, Vietnam War. You know, he doesn't have a degree, and like, so I'm a big firm believer on either, and I don't mean to say like join the military or get a degree or, like, you know, go to college, but like, do something bigger than yourself. Right? Do something bigger, like, be a part of something bigger than your name, be a part of something bigger than your, you know, personal gain. And that's why I'm a big fan of servant leadership, you know, like serving others. You know, yeah, I mean, serving others, man, like, that's what I'm all about. I have, you know, all these endorsements for servant leadership on my profile, and I'm like, dude, I don't even care about the endorsements. Like, the whole point of the definition servant leadership is to serve others, and don't make it about yourself, you know, make it about something bigger. So yeah, hope that answers your question.
It does. And I've been more active recently now on LinkedIn as well. And I get, you know,
Kyle's been killing it.
Kyle, you have been, dude. You've been crushing it, man. I love your engagement. Seriously, I love your engagement.
Appreciate it. So yeah, like, on a given day, I get, you know, anywhere from like 20 to 50 messages, and a lot of the times the messages are asking, like, I need help, I need a job. So what do you have, any recommendations for those that are looking for a job right now, and some of their approach to messaging people?
Yep, absolutely. So great segue, man. I would say, stop, you know, beggars can't be choosers, right? So stop begging. So I get a lot of messages too, like, I need help, like, almost like an emergency, like, please help me. Like, and I'm kind of like, well, what are you doing? You know, like, what are you doing to help yourself? because it first is it's in you, man. It's in you. It's you versus you, right? So I would say the first thing is create a plan, right? Be prepared before you reach out to someone. So if there's someone who, you really look up to on LinkedIn, don't just, like the CEO of the company, right? I mentioned reach out to a CEO. Don't just say, hey, I need your help, right? Don't say like those Bitcam scammers, dude. They just say, hi, hello, or how's it going? It's almost like a bot, like a robot.
Yeah.
Like, dude, no one
Waiting
has
for
time for that.
any input.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally a fish. It's a fish email, like literally. But yeah, so like be prepared and be prepared to sell your story, man. Like, don't do it briefly, right? Like, be brief, be short, be clear and concise, like, and to be honest, like I normally reply to those people like, oh hey, like thanks for reaching out, like what do you need help with, or I'll sometimes copy and paste them back because I can tell when someone copy and pastes me, man. I just
of course, yeah.
call it a sixth sense. It's pretty obvious to tell when someone control C's control V's, like it's just obvious.
Instant red flag, you can tell.
Yeah, exactly. So just don't like stand out, like, so if you're really looking to grow on the platform and grow as a person, like have a plan and execute that plan, hold yourself accountable, get an accountability buddy. I have a ton of accountability buddies and they hold me accountable to what I say. And to be honest, my accountability buddies are my life. They're not there to hold my hand. They're there to make me do what I say I'm gonna do, or throw me off the ship. That's my favorite saying. Do what you say you're gonna do, or get thrown off the ship, man. I'm a freaking pirate.
Do you have anything to tell the community if they want to find out more about you?
Absolutely, yeah. So obviously, find me on LinkedIn. Find me on Apple Podcasts. Find me on I use Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, but honestly, I just don't like those. I just don't like those platforms that much. So, I would say reach out to me on my, on my LinkedIn profile, or honestly, write me my first review on my podcast. Like I might, love it. Like, and to be honest, like I would love to get this recording just in general to maybe put it on my podcast. And, like that would be, amazing. Hear my own voice and then cringe.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly how I feel.
Yeah. I like, was that high? Jesus, Ryan.
What'd you smoke before you came on?
Oh, I'm so excited we finally did this, guys. And to be honest, keep doing what you're doing, keep inspiring, keep connecting, keep engaging, keep growing, because I'm not sure like what your target audience is, but whoever they are, if you even help 10 people a day, it exponentially grows, guys. So thank you so much for having me. I'm humbled and blessed.
Thank you so much.
Man, same.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah. Good luck on the podcast.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
We are accepting applications if you think you have what it takes to be a big cat and be a guest on the show. Email us at bigcatlounge@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to the Big Cat Lounge podcast. Hope to see you soon.